My name is Blair Warner, and as per usual, joining me is Danny Milner for the National League Championship Week 4 Roundup. So, been a rather quiet week on the goals front this week, but we've still had some incredibly interesting results. So crack into it, and Auckland City nicking 1-0 against Wellington Olympic, and they arguably didn't deserve to win.
It's a game that I watched back and it wasn't the great. It's a game of many chances, but only Auckland City took their chance. But it's a game that deserved at least each team to get a point. But ultimately, it's Auckland City coming to trumps again.
Yeah. I think Wellington Olympic squandered a lot of chances. I think they should have taken all 3 points there. I think it was a massive opportunity to just break away from everyone else in the league, and they stumbled. Auckland City showing their experience and their resilience, and managed to take all 3 points back up to Auckland with them.
And the Mediterranean Cup as well, and also Adam Supik did also get sent off. So
yes, I completely forgot about that, honestly.
I did too. I got reminded on Wednesday. I was like, that's right.
Yeah. And a bit of an upset. Auckland FC reserves go down to Coastal Spirit at home. A team that has been notoriously bad so far this season.
I mean, we even sat here last week saying that they were going to lose another game. And I have to apologise to all the Coastal Spirit fans. They won a game in Auckland away from home against AFC reserves. Nobody expected it, but somehow they did it. And
also successful Nick Petherick watch, I must say. But the Auckland FC reserves were very disjointed that game. They weren't sort of moving as consistently on the ball as they were at Western Springs. They weren't making the same runs. They just weren't creating in the same way that they were against Springs. And Coastal Spirit, they earned their win. Yep. I think Auckland FC reserves just couldn't break them down, basically. And Derek Tiku showed his quality. Northern League MVP gets his first goal, I believe, for the club.
Yes.
Yeah, so great result for Coastal to turn their season around. Hopefully that can kick some form into gear for them with Christchurch United upcoming this week. And
it was a smash and grab by Coastal.
Yeah. And speaking of Christchurch United, they go down 2-1 to Western Springs. Makamoto and Wallace with the goals. Stevens poaching one late at the end.
And Connolly saving a pen. So ultimately saving Western Springs maybe going down the goal, and then that huge penalty save within to save the first goal, and for Makimoto to go up the other end and scoring that goal. So it's a huge penalty save.
Yeah, Christchurch United, another team that were sort of building a bit of momentum that have now stumbled and sort of just left the race wide open for so many teams. And then Auckland United, Wellington Phoenix reserves. I think Nick's reserves probably should have taken all 3 points. I think they were the better team. Auckland United, though, will happily take a point at this time of the season. They have very much struggled in a very competitive National League season. A lot of teams are still in and about the grand final conversation. That's just bad timing, I think, for them. And speaking of floating about the grand final situation, Western Suburbs 3-1 over Birkenhead United.
No, I didn't expect that.
Absolute
I watched
shock
the
result.
Full game. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it was such a good performance from them. It was just the same thing they did against Auckland City, same thing they did against Coastal. They just sat back, absorbed pressure, hit hard and fast. And Birkenhead, I did mention last episode that they are, I've mentioned it throughout the season really, that they are prone to these waxings and wanes of form, and it's shown through again. They managed to get themselves back into the game at 2-0 down.
Yeah.
But Western Suburbs went and just doubled the lead again, and yeah. It's funny you mentioned Western Suburbs Dark Horses, Kobe. That was my shout in the preview of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of how that's turned out.
It's quite interesting because when Birkenhead scored, I was like, bloody hell, we're going to have Grant's game finish here. And like Western Suburbs just literally went up the other end and put the ball in the net and was like, nah, I'm not having this.
Yeah.
So, it's a very interesting game this weekend.
Yeah. Western Suburbs, of course, getting the bye. They get a nice little rest and get a chance to recuperate. Miramar Rangers had the bye this week, but yeah. So we'll see how that goes for them, whether they're able to be coming up against a very strong side in the next round. But for now, we'll get into the table. So the table is so open. There's still, I'd say everyone in the top 7 is still in for a shout at the grand final. Like, that core group of teams is just so tightly packed.
It's anyone's game. From Miramar Rangers to Christchurch United, Suburbs could even make a grand final. It's an open game. Somebody just needs to take it by the scruff of the neck and run away with it, but no one's doing it.
Yeah. Auckland United, again, we mentioned, just below average what they normally are in a very competitive National League season. There's not really much you can... Like in another season, they probably finish 7th or 8th maybe, It's just been a tough year. I mean, even Auckland City's wallowing around in 6th place.
I mean, name me a year where you would actually see Auckland United bottom of the National League table and Auckland City middle. Never, because they're always normally at the top of the table. So it is a very competitive year this year.
Yeah, Western Springs hanging in there. They've had a couple of tough results that they probably would have liked to have gone their way, but they're hanging on to that second place spot, and I imagine they'll just be hoping to maintain those points advantages over Suburbs and Birkenhead.
Yeah. And very interesting that you mentioned about Tade. There's also Luca Lim also have gone down to Napier for the Under-19s tournament.
For context, Cobain Mitchell, commentator for West Coast Rangers and Auckland FC Reserves, has just mentioned that Emi Tade will be coaching the Auckland United Under-19s in Napier this weekend. So, yeah. We'll move on to next week's fixtures. The Christchurch Derby. Coastal Spirit, Christchurch United. 12 p.m. Saturday. Big game for both teams. Christchurch United looking to push for the grand final places. Coastal Spirit just wanting a win, I think. A win would be nice for them.
A classic derby on our hands to start off match week 5. I'm looking forward to this, but I'm also on one hand thinking if Christchurch United turn up like they could, this could just be done in the first half an hour.
Yeah.
However, if Coastal turn up, then we could have a good game on our hands.
Yeah, definitely. I believe it was a late equaliser, I think it was, in Coastal Spirit, Christchurch United's last meeting. Riku Ichimura, who's now over in Bhutan, scored that equaliser. So while Coastal Spirit have brought in Tiku, he hasn't quite fully gelled yet. He's got the one goal, but he's not been the standout player that anyone who watches Northern League knows he is. And I think Christchurch United take it, honestly. I don't see Coastal Spirit having the consistency to go back to back.
And also, Christchurch United midweek held their first trial game for the OFC Pro League. So there might
Ah,
be a couple people watching the game and hoping they might get picked up by the OFC League team as
yeah,
well.
I'd imagine
So,
Derek Tiku would likely be in and amongst that. And
yeah.
yeah, we'll have to see what happens on that front.
And Nick
Yeah,
could be, you never know. They might need a centre back.
yeah.
Throw him in there.
Oh, that's harsh on Nick. But yeah, following that will be Nick's Reserves versus Miramar Rangers at 3 o'clock on Saturday. That'll be a good game. Martin Bueno is in great form this year, scoring goals left, right, and centre. Nick's Reserves, they've built some momentum up since the likes of Walker and Supik have returned to the team. Could go either way, in my opinion.
The dangers for both teams are the attacking players. For one side you've got Martin Bruno, and the other side you've got the electric pace of Walker and Supik. Supik and Walker, I watched the game on the weekend, they work really well off each other, so it'll definitely be an interesting game and one to watch.
Yeah. And then I think the game of the week. Auckland City, Auckland FC Reserves. The Auckland Derby, if you will. Auckland City yet to beat them. Being beaten 1-0 at Kiwitea Street earlier this year, drawing 1-1 at Fred Taylor Park. They just haven't been able to get up for this game. Whereas the kids, they've been up for it. Both games, they've put in grafty performances that have just been outright impressive against such an experienced and just serial winners in Auckland City, you know?
This is definitely like another game to definitely keep an eye out because it could go either way. I mean, AFC Reserves winning 1-0 at Kiwitea Street, nobody saw that coming from a mile away, and yet it did happen. Auckland City will be wanting to win it to keep a hold of the track, to try and make that grand final come the end of the season, but
Yeah.
it's anyone's kind of call.
Yeah, this feels like a game that Jonty Bidwell will pop up with another goal. He scored the winner in the first Auckland Derby. He nabbed one against Western Springs a few weeks back. He has that tendency to just pick up those odd goals against those better teams from just these half chances and deflections. So I think, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that's the kind of game that he thrives off of.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and moving on, Birkenhead United versus Wellington Olympic. Massive 6-pointer. Birkenhead coming off a 3-1 loss to Western Suburbs will be very much looking to kick back into form, and Ken Donkers, of course, returning. They will really want to take the chances that they can get in this game and just try and claw back Wellington Olympic, who were almost ready to break away there if not for Western Springs.
It's going to be an interesting one, this, because of the whole travel factor is that this is the first game that a Wellington team travelling up to Auckland this weekend. This is the only real travel game, and the Wellington wins will probably be playing havoc with the plane taking off. So, could that become a factor? You never know. Birkenhead will want to make a statement performance. They lost 3-1 on the weekend. They will probably not be happy with that result. And also, Wellington Olympic will be wanting to go back to winning one. So it's anyone's game this. I think this is game of the week, not the Auckland City AFC Reserves, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that flag tells me your bias. No, all good. But yeah, I think it's either going to be a 1-0 or like a 4-3, I feel.
Yeah.
Both teams are just so stacked up top that it's just... And they've both got some real quality in defence. You know, players like Justin Gully for Olympic, Dino Bodica for Birkenhead, you know. It's going to be one of those games that's either everyone scores every chance, or it comes down to one chance.
Yeah. And so it's going to become who's going to have the better midfield between the two teams. Because
Yeah.
if both got stacked attack, stacked defense, it's just going to be a midfield showdown.
And then wrapping up the weekend, Western Springs, Auckland United. I think Springs should probably cruise past Auckland United, really. I think Tade could give them a bit of trouble. There's no Matthias Nunez. I believe he's off with the under-17s for the World Cup. So he won't be a part of that attack. So they'll be relying entirely on Tade and Mendoza to really build anything.
Tade won't be back in time.
Oh, of course, that's right. Yeah, he's off to Napier.
Napier finishes on Monday.
Yeah, so they're out without their main man. There's no Matthias Nunez to bring a bit of youth into the team. So Springs should realistically cruise past them. There's no reason they don't.
Yes. Springs would be hot favourites for this. I hate to see the odds, but they'll be hot favourites for this one.
Yeah. And, of course, Western Suburbs, following their fantastic win over Birkenhead, will get this week's bye.
Oh, Kobe brought up a great point. Maybe we should get him on one week. Great.
Yeah, 100%.
Auckland United did win last game of the season at Springs. So, great point.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, because Birkenhead also lost to blow the title, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But I think we're in a bit of a different sort of arena. Auckland United had something to fight for then, and right now I just don't see them having that same coming into this game with that same energy. You know, they're a bit of a downtrodden, beaten down team at the moment, and I don't think Western Springs is the team they're gonna pick form back up again on.
Before we go and before we talk A-League, because no doubt we're going to talk A-League because it's back on again this weekend and I'm enjoying it. Predictions for this weekend. Who's going to win?
What do you mean, the A-League games or National League?
National League.
I'll go Christchurch, draw in the next Miramar game. I think Auckland FC poaches it again against Auckland City. I think they're starting to build that bit of resilience. I think that Olympic Birkenhead one is tough to call.
It's tough to call.
That's that's gonna be. I'm going Birkenhead United. I'm calling it Donkers in behind after they go like 3-3 or something, and just Olympic chases the 3 points. Donkers hits on the counter, and then Springs over United.
I'm going to go Christchurch United, Wellington Phoenix, Auckland City, Birkenhead, Western Springs. Easy.
Nice. Cool. We'll move on to a bit of A-League then, a quick little segue into A-League. I think both teams had some very promising starts to the season. Auckland FC 0-0 draw against Melbourne Victory. Nix pulling back a 2-0 deficit against Perth Glory away from home as well. And both coming up against respectable opposition in their first home games of the season.
I'm very happy coming from last season to this season, seeing that we can actually fight back from 2-0 deficit, because last year I would have just been like, yeah, we're going to lose like 5 or 6-0. But I'm very happy that we can crawl back from 2-0 down. Sorry. Yeah,
it'll be very interesting to see how you guys go against Brisbane Roar. They seem like a team that's going out there to be somewhat similar to Auckland FC, and where they want to physically impose themselves on the game. It'll be interesting to see how some of those players within the Wellington squad, some of those new signings, react to that kind of football. You know, Mandrakar James, for example, has a bit of a reputation for being, willing to get into a fight, basically. And I think Brisbane will be looking for said fight. And I think that's just going to up the ante for that game. And then...
Auckland FC.
Yeah, Auckland FC versus Western Sydney Wanderers. Bit of drama around that one last season. Some incidents with fans.
Fans trying to get into the away end, eh?
Sorry?
Was it fans trying to get into the away end?
No, it was a random fan clocked a Western Sydney fan that was waiting in line for food.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Just wasn't even Port associated. But Kostavar Roos, of course, signing for Western Sydney. Scored straight off the bat, looking just as threatening as he has for the last 10 years. That's going to be a tough one. Western Sydney look a really, really good team this year. And I think the top 4 teams all played each other last week with City, Western Sydney and Victory Auckland. And I think those 2 draws basically summed up how this season is going to go. I think it's basically going to be a four-horse race with maybe like a Sydney lurking in about in 5th, And I think that's just going to make things really, really good. Kobe's just made a shout. Auckland FC 3-2.
I don't know, because Western Sydney Wanderers have scored a couple goals against Melbourne City. AFC's still yet to get off the mark. They didn't have that many opportunities against Victory.
To be fair, you say that. We didn't have many opportunities early on last season either, and we won our first 6 games. Yeah. I think it's just it's a bit different because Victory away is an incredibly tough fixture, and they've put together an incredibly good defence. Like, you look at that back 4 and there's experience just in droves. You got Davidson left back, very experienced player. What was the centre back pairing? It was Jackson and I've forgotten now. It was Lachlan Jackson and it wasn't Hamill. It wasn't Miranda. I cannot remember who it was for the life of me now. But it was an experienced centre back. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. And Insera, right back, very good right back. Rawlins was suspended, so unavailable. And of course, they've got a stacked midfield. Randall had a bit of a...
Randall, how do you miss?
I don't even think that was the issue for me. The issue for me is he didn't fill that 10 role that Mai normally would. He wasn't linking up play. He was playing as an out-and-out striker, which is not what we need in those kinds of games. The moment Mai came on, all of a sudden the attack flowed. Just so much better. So I'm really, really hoping that Mai is fit and ready to go for the Western Sydney game, because I think that will be incredibly decisive. Fun little fact from Hamish. Auckland FC need to score before the 35th minute tomorrow. Otherwise, they'll set their longest drought for not scoring in competitive matches. So that's 2 games. That's crazy. I wonder how long it is for the Knicks.
That's normally like a fun fact, like I would get on like the end of like a beer bottle.
Yeah.
that could turn up one day. You never know.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think our defence holds. It's like the classic Auckland FC, like poach one in the last 20, poach a second, like 10 minutes after that one, sort of shut up shop and then hit on the counter. That's pretty much my thoughts on that game. Yeah.
I had a score prediction in my head earlier today. I think it's going to be closer than what I thought. I think I'm going to say 2-1 Western Sydney Wanderers. I think I'm going to say Costas to score in the 80th minute to ruin Hearts.
The funny thing is, Western City have never scored twice against us. And I don't think they will. I don't think they've got 2 goals in them.
Costa did score the first ever AFC competitive goal against you guys for the Phoenix.
Yeah, in the second game.
Yeah, not the first one.
It only took him 172 minutes. I suppose he's got a head start now. He's what was it? Because he'd be on 270 minutes by now. So who knows? Maybe that timing crosses over. 15 minutes into the late in the second half, he gets that second one.
What was it inside the first 10 minutes? He scored the goal, and I was thinking, oh my god, what have we done here?
Yeah, that was a very silly signing on part of the. Silly release on part of the Knicks. Like, how can you let that go? Especially with Eze joining the team. Like, that would have been such a good pair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm backing Auckland to keep a clean sheet and to win. Not by much. I think it'll be a very tight, very contestable game. I think Thurgate will, as per usual, probably run the show. But I think we've got the defensive resilience to keep them out.
Well, fun fact, like last time Thurgate was in Auckland was with Western United, and they ran rampant around you guys.
Yeah.
4-0.
Yeah. No, last time Costa was in Auckland, we won 6-1, so... I can play that game as well.
Anyone can.
Yeah. I think that pretty much wraps us up. Been a bit of a longer episode, but I think we've touched on a few more subjects than usual. And Danny's camera's gone.
Yeah,
and it's back. But yeah, so that's us for the evening. There's a bit of A-League football on at 9:30 tonight, as well as some Oz Championships. So feel free to tune into that as well later on.